Hello, welcome. I hope I'm doing this right. This is the first time I've been live on YouTube. And, all right, so I'll move the camera over here. This is going to be part 5 of my bald eagle oil painting. And move it over. Let's check out what's going on so far. Hopefully this will help. I won't have to take so much time uploading the painting either. Be good. Nice and close. All right, so last night what I was working on, it was kind of developing some of these feathers by putting in some lighter paint over the darker paint, give it a little bit of depth inside the feathers. And I was using burnt umber and just straight white, a little bit of medium. That's squared away here. Medium I use is Alkyd thin Alkyd medium. Some of that out. Some of that out. White. And I was taking what is this, number 1 round brush. It's a tiny little round brush I was using. So, I'm going to make the color I was using last night, white, burnt umber. Mix together. And I'm sort of continuing on what I was doing. I know up in here is a little bit of feeling a little featheries right in there. A little bit of what's the word for it? Not time consuming, but just kind of like meticulous process to get this looking proper. A little bit closer. Better view. With the round brush, you can make little strokes like that, and then you can really pull it thick too, which is nice. Strokes come this way. There's all different sizes of round brushes. You can make those strokes just as thin as you want them to be, really. Trying not to cover up all of the dark, leaving that here and there. Make these tiny little strokes here and there. I was using the same color and the same value. values how dark the paint is, or light. Sometimes I just tap the paint on, and sometimes I stroke it a little bit more. Yep. Now come down here. Some color goes that way. This will have more of like a feather feeling, so I'll kind of come out from both sides like that. That's one side. Bring that down there. Distinctly make the other side. It looks like more like a real feather that you like to pick up. Yep. Let's bring it back in to soften this. And basically do the same thing there. Making feathers a little bit more distinct here. Trying to get the consistency of the paint good. It's not flowing for me properly. Trying to make more of like a, see that? More of like a distinct edge to that. That way. Get distinct edge on this side. That's kind of cool there. Like that. Do the same thing here. This medium dries kind of fast. We get it work kind of fast. Fast there. Keep the paint relatively thin, but thick enough so it's has some opacity to it. Small one there. This is what it looks like they're layered. Going this way here. It's a little weird that pulled that way that far. Down that way more. Excuse me. So you notice I left a little bit of space between them. Makes them look a little bit more distinct. If they were right up next to each other, you wouldn't be able to see them too well. And the bright ones there. Some brighter areas. We have this one. Make the edge of that a little bit more distinct there. You have one here, there, maybe one more over there. So we make it right there and let's put it like that way. Make lines coming out from either side. Separate. Boom. Right there. Notice I have some lines that were underneath there. I don't want to cover up all those either. So those look like veins inside the feather. Excuse me. So we're just gonna that one. A couple of these a little bit more distinct. That going that way. They're actually less distinct, so it looks like it's more around there. Still quite bright though. I'm not covering all the dark, I'm leaving a little bit of dark nickel there. Now up in here, I need a little bit of lighter color. It's going to work some of those little tiny strokes in there. There's a little bit of variety in these shapes of the feathers too, which is nice. Let's go this way. Excuse my hand for a second. That area there. I put the burnt umber in the paint so it doesn't look chalky. You have just straight white, sometimes the paint will start to look chalky. I want to avoid. That. Yeah, just looking at it, I know it's maybe a little bit more brighter in this right up here. Make some sort of medium-sized strokes right in there. Try not to correct myself too much when I make the stroke. I sort of leave the paint on or just kind of get away from it. Looks much more natural when I just leave the paint on there. I'm not over blending. I'm just going to put the paint on and get away from it. Lighter. Definitely lighter up through here. Looking at my reference. Look at your reference often. Sort of nice. And be up here. Raise my hand a little bit so I have a little bit better angle at it. Blending. I have to remind myself, don't overblend. There. I'll lighten some of that up there. This should be a little bit higher in there. Over here, I wanted to the paint to sort of turn in this direction a little bit more. The paint goes that way a little bit better. I actually want that a little bit grayer right in there, so I'm going to take a little bit of black. So I can infuse that here and there. Black, white. that together. Get it the right value. Right in here. Make it a little grayer there. The right consistency. Comes off the brush properly. Take some more of that gray paint and kind of infuse it in places. There. A little trouble getting it off the brush somehow. Sometimes the paint just doesn't want to come off the brush. Get some off there. Maybe I'm not making it dark enough. That's what the problem is. Make it a little bit darker. That's a little bit better. A little bit tinier, darker strokes here and there. Break up what I had on there. Here needs to be darker. I'm just looking at areas I need a little bit more contrast. In there. Covering up everything. You can always go over it, whatever. Eventually, whatever you want to go over. Go into some darker color, darker black. If you want it darker, I'll start to get some of that in there. I like to let it dry before I do this. I'm not going to get too into it here. I paint the different values. I like to let each layer dry. That helps a little bit. I'll just put a little in while I'm here and some paint out. A little bit too thick here. Let me kind of shorten that a little. Of course. Now, right in here, when I was working yesterday, I kind of defined these little edges of these feathers here. So, and I want to brighten up some of the edges of them. I'm going to go back into my burnt umber white mixture. Use more burnt umber for this. A light burnt umber color. And I'm going to go on the edge of these. sort of get enough for him. Sort of start to define these. A little bit more medium, and a little bit more penumbra. It's a little too white. Oops. Too much of that. Try that color. That's a little bit better. Right at the end of all these points, I want to sort of put in just a little bit of a feeling, a little bit of a color in there. Around the edges. I don't have to put the whole feather in there yet. Sort of define where that black line is there. Sort of come up right against it and sort of like that. Get a little bit of a feathery feel in there. Right the tip. It's hard to see. Just enough to give me something to go over later. Eventually dries. Bend it back a little bit. And some thinner ones over here. Some little indications of some light hitting over there on that side. A thicker one there. Sort of blend it back just a tiny bit. Not too many hard edges. So that's sort of setting those off a little bit. Now I'm going to come over here, and then this is a bit more white. Put a little bit of red into it too, just to change the flavor of it just slightly. Just a tiny bit different. Dab of red. And I'm going to sort of feel some. I don't want it to get too white at this point. Just gonna want to leave room for my eventual brightest white. A bit of feathers going this way. Keep it loose, keep it airy. Cool. Number. I'll bring this way more. And I'll do sort of what I did over there and sort of define some of these feathers here. I put a little more burnt umber in there. Bring them back a little. Doesn't have to be too distinct here. Shouldn't be. I like that color, so I want to put that more on the other side. I didn't get quite enough of that color in there. Here and there. Sort of a rust type color for a number. A little bit here and there just to get that feel in there. That color there. Oops. That's a little too much white right there. A little more color of that. Nice shapes there. Cool. All right. I'll go back up in here. Oops. I'll go back up in here and start to infuse a little bit of gray into it in places. Okay, so light coming this way. All right, so I think I'll stop for today. Excuse me. I think I did pretty good at developing the head, giving a little bit more punch to it. I think I want to add a little bit more warmer colors. Right now it's a little bit too chalky looking. So I'll probably glaze over it some more burnt umber, give it some warmth. Then just keep working in layers until I get it right, get it looking the way I want it to be. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and happy Saturday.